This was a hot mess.
Hey, Miami sports fans. Stop by Canesware today at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. And check out their awesome merchandise selection of your favorite South Florida sports teams. From the Miami Dolphins, Hurricanes, Heat, Marlins, Florida Panthers, and Inter Miami, they've got it all. Celebrate your favorite team and show off your fandom with their beautiful team starter jackets, killer-looking helmets, team jerseys, cool shirts, and more. And if you're out of town or out of state, no worries. Go to Canesware.com and find everything they have on their site. Select what you want, and they will ship your gear to you. Anything over $99 is shipped for free. Don't wait. Stop at Canesware today.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Goon Squad. I'm Bobby Finstock, joined always by Alex Atiachisca, Courtney,
Up, my man?
Rob Parks, and newbie to the Goon Squad, the one and only Marisa Marino. Marisa, how are you?
I am good. How are you? I'm so glad to be here.
Doing great. Excited to have you on. I mean, obviously, Marisa, you cover the Dolphins for Dolphins Talk YouTube channel. Alex covers Dolphins, Heat, Panthers, Marlins with me on East Century Boys.
All of the above.
Courtney covers about everything except for baseball and hockey. Don't get her started. And then Rob Parks covers the Orlando Magic and the Miami Heat. And, of course, co-host of the Goon Squad. We have a great show, a fun show up talking about today. We got the Heat game currently right now. Heat are catching up, 63-58. Good to see. Heat made a trade, Alex, Courtney, Rob. We discussed it. Terry Rozier officially on the Miami Heat. Before we get into this, I would love to, because we obviously all familiar with each other and our passion for the Heat and everything. We are familiar with Marisa's fandom of the Dolphins, but not the Heat. So, Marisa, if you don't mind, just spare a couple minutes of your, how'd your fandom start with the Miami Heat and where you stand now on the current team?
Yeah, so fandom kind of is the same way that it came about with the Dolphins, except for my last name doesn't affiliate with any Heat players. So that's the difference there, since my last name is Marino. Since it doesn't say it on my screen, I forgot to put it there. But grew up in South Florida, Coral Springs, born and raised down there for about 23 years until I moved away. Really involved in going to a ton of Heat games growing up. My dad was the one who really got me into a lot of it. He was the VP of marketing for a big nightclub called Gatsby's, and they were really heavily involved with,
Wow.
Yeah, so they were involved with the Heat, the Dolphins, the Panthers, and so I just got a lot of exposure with that, got to go to a lot of games, and just been a big fan ever since. It's followed me all the way to Mississippi. Got my little Hemi shirt on tonight, just love these guys and this team, and we'll see what happens this season, but I'm excited for what's to come. So, yeah, good to be here.
Absolutely. And, obviously we're touch on this game here. Just a minute right now, just an update. Heat are losing. Well, actually, Heat just got a score here. They're about it's 66-59, about 7 points. They're 7 points off. But let's get into this trade. And then we just ask everybody for forgiveness. I've been dealing with a migraine today. We got one Nurtec, got 6 Advil in me. So I'm fighting that. So I just wanted to get Marisa's introduction, because Marisa told me, hey, but she kind of got me with Rob. So I was like, I gotta get her in here.
That's just what I do.
I know, it's all good. But hey, I was gonna start this off on the 3-game losing skid, but we can't do that right now. We got to get into this Terry Rozier news, and I'm gonna start off with Courtney here, because she, we all know how she felt about Kyle Lowry. And she had the floor on the Kyle Lowry comments that had her a big comment on there to talk about it today. But I want her to react to Kyle Lowry finally being traded, and then her thoughts on the addition of Terry Rozier.
I'm gonna be honest, you guys. It's like Christmas. I got rid of Banjo and Lowry in 2 days, basically. I don't know what I just did to the Miami gods, but they are raining down on me this week. Praise the Lord. I am so happy that he's gone. Even though we're losing and we're down, I just see a difference already in the Heat with Rozier out there. I think he's already playing with some aggression. I think once they get a couple of games in them to they need to flow a little bit better. But I already see he's out there. He's intense. I think he's going to bring the intensity back to the team that they've been missing. And Lowry can just go off and do whatever he's going to do. I don't really care. He can go do some squats. I don't know. But I'm really excited about Rozier. I think that he's kind of we've been stagnant for basically the whole month, and really haven't had a nice flow together on offense. And it's just, we're missing. We're in the 30s for percentage. It's awful. So I think he's going to bring a much needed passion, aggression. Already on the defense, he's just been in their face. Offensively, I think once we can work him in a little bit more, I'm excited. I think he's what we kind of needed to spark before we head off the playoff run.
That's a great point. Let me get over to Alex here, and then we'll get to Marisa and then Rob and their reactions on the Terry Rozier news. But Alex, man, you just heard it. She, obviously right now Heat are down by 66-60, 5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. But yeah, obvious spark right now with the team. Even though we know Bam Adebayo came out and wasn't, gave praising words for Kyle Lowry, it was obvious that it kind of became stagnant. But the Heat had to make a move, especially when they're on this 3-game losing skid. Danger of 4 games, but it's still very early. But we talked on Murray, possibly DeJounte Murray, Terry Rozier last week. Heat make the move for Terry Rozier. How do you think, does this move the needle anyway for Miami in the positive light, or do you kind of see it, it's a good move, but it's you want to go as far to say it could help them push in the playoffs, make a push in the playoffs?
Oh, 100% in the positive light, man, because you went from I know you've mentioned a lot about the stagnant offense, and we repeat that over and over, but I believe also it was a time for a change. And don't get me wrong, people liked, as a person, you love Kyle Lowry, but his time kind of came and went. And that goes without saying that without Kyle, we don't make the Eastern Conference Finals. We don't make the finals last year. So we have to give credit where credit is due. And even this year, Kyle, in the beginning of the season, he was playing the most minutes in the whole rotation until we got healthy. So I give him his flowers. But Terry Rozier right now, it's in a different stratosphere in regards to Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry is going to give you leadership. He has the championship pedigree. But with this team, I felt that we have enough veteran presence in the locker room where you can go ahead and go for a player that is dynamic offensively. He's the epitome, and we talked about it last show. He's the epitome of Heat culture. He's wanted to play for the Heat. He grew up a Heat fan. He was a Wade fan. So it was a perfect ending in regards to him finding the culture home where he was balling out in Charlotte. But obviously, that's when a team does the right thing. If Portland is paying attention, you get your player to the destination of choice, which, like I said, remember we talked about this. Sometimes the best trade is the one that doesn't happen. We got Rozier at a much cheaper rate. I'm not comparing him to Dame, but for this team, he's the perfect piece, and it's gonna take a few games. That's why he's not starting today. And today's one of those trap games too. Memphis is injured, so they're playing a lot of young guys. They got nothing to lose. It's going to take Rozier maybe a week or two to be fully integrated, even though he's a very cerebral basketball player and he's a dog. He gives you the scoring punch, and now you have so much offense. We were the only team with 3 players averaging 20 points per game or more. Now we have 4 averaging 20 points per game or more. Now, do I expect something to dip along the way? Maybe. You might see Jimmy more of a creative role, so some numbers might go down, but overall team success, I think it's going to be night and day in regards to our offensive power, because we were struggling because we didn't have enough offense at times in the games that Jimmy coming back to. So those are situations. Whoa. Am I gone?
What happened, Alex?
What was that?
What happened? Can you hear me now?
You're
No, I
done.
cannot.
Now can you hear me?
He's done talking, everybody. Let's move on.
I'm just really jealous that they're really
Oh,
calling.
wow.
Now, where did I leave off? Did you guys hear Jaime or no? I just cut me off.
No, I cut out like 2
You
seconds.
cut off?
Keep going.
All right. Jaime's coming back to my only thing is I want to make sure, and I know, for example, Brian is playing today because Jackson is a very physical center, so he's backing up Bam. But I don't expect the rotation for it to be Brian as a backup 5. I still expect Love. I really hope that they still incorporate Jovic because he's changed that dynamic, especially with Jaime coming off the bench. If you got Jovic coming off the bench, there's a lot of things that you can do across the board, dynamically, offensively, and defensively. So give it about a week or two, but you're gonna see, and obviously it'll be the epitome of Terry Rozier. Here's a game winner today. That would be like the nail on the head for the Heat. But they were just waiting, and this is my last thing I'm gonna say. You can tell that they were determined because the only holdup with Kyle Lowry was, am I going to trade him for other expiring deals? Am I just going to let his contract expire? This also speaks in regards to Caleb Martin's extension. How far are you willing to go? Is it something you can move? Is the trade deadline is still 2 weeks away? So there's other secondary moves possibly. Or the buyout market. Now, it was a lot of financial implications. Now we can be buyers in the buyout market as long as the player was making less than $12 million. So those are things now that are available because of this trade. We lower our tax bill, but next year we're committed. Terry Rozier has 2 more years on his contract. Doesn't mean it can be moved, but you can tell the Heat it was worth it enough to trade a first-round pick to secure this, and he could be your missing piece for this season, and he's going to change your dynamic all the way.
All right. Marisa, your reaction to the trade?
Yeah.
Just reading all these comments now.
Yeah, they're Hunter and Ray are thirsting on you, Alex. I don't know what to tell you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, buddy. Love you, Ray. Love you, Hunter.
Competition.
Right? Gosh. Yeah, I mean, I think this is an awesome move by the team. I mean, obviously, you needed a player. They needed another player who could step up, provide a 20, 25, 30-point game. I'm so glad that Pat Riley decided to do something and to make a move. I feel like that's something I've called for so much. Like, can you just do something? Like, can we move the needle a little bit with the trade or with the player? And it was the perfect timing for the Hornets. I mean, I think they're still a couple years out. They knew that Rozier was at the highest point of his game right now to trade him. And so I think it fits really well with this team. I'm a stat head, and I kind of just made note of some stats, which I think are just really awesome and goes to show how much of an impact he'll have on this team. Now, before I do them, I'll just say that, he was kind of one of the big guys with the Hornets. So maybe some of these numbers will go down when you're surrounded by guys like, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. But still, at the end of the day, Kyle Lowry was the last in the league at points per game by a starting point guard at 8.2 versus, Rozier, you have 23.2. In assists per game, you have 4 for Lowry versus 6.6. And then field goal attempts, you have 6.5 versus 18.3. So there's major differences, major gaps in what Lowry, and Lowry's 37 years old, not for nothing. I mean, he's had his time to shine. He's gotten those, had those big moments, won those championships. Rozier's 29, I think, years old. And so, I think he's 29. And so, you're getting a young player who's got a lot to bring. I think also it clears up a little bit of that locker room noise that's been going around. That's always an issue. Not all players are going to come out and say it in national media, but it's been hinted at. And as we know with other teams, that can be infectious in a locker room, whether it be with one player, 2 players, etc. So I think this is a major move for us. I'm curious to see, if the Heat can keep up pace and slip into the playoffs, how he does with these other players. If you have a Jimmy Butler that shows up in the playoffs, how does Tyler Hero do in a playoff? Well, we now have Rozier, who we know, can hopefully show up and add some points to the whole spread. So I'm really excited to have him. I think it definitely moves the needle in answer to your question. And I mean, this game right now, I mean, it's kind of getting out of hand, but it's his first game. I watched him get his first 3-pointer. He's had some great steals tonight, and so some rebound, So it takes time. It takes time.
No, that's a great point. You had a lot of good points, and right there, I mean, you kind of nailed it. And we'll get to Rob and his reaction on it, but you kind of nailed it with the numbers, right? What Lowry did at the beginning of the season was great, but it's like what I say with the Dolphins, and we talk about. I don't want to get into it, but a quarterback situation, whatever. It's always it's like, oh, but look at what he did throughout the season. It's what you've done for me lately,
right?
Not what you did for me 3 months ago or a month ago, whatever. It's what you're doing right now and how it affects the team now. And obviously, those numbers did not match the contract, and you needed that spark. And a player like you said, Marisa, who went during a playoff stretch, could give you maybe 15, 20, 25 points a game and kind of alleviate that burden off of a Butler or Adebayo. Rob, you watch this. We're going to touch on the Magic game, the 3-game losing skid. But before we get into that, man, your reaction. I know, you sent me the message on Twitter about this or the group. I know you're excited about it. Tell me why you're excited about it.
I'm real high on Terry Rozier. I've been watching Terry since high school, Shaker Heights, Cleveland. I'm from Cleveland, so I just know his work ethic, and he's just a great ball player. And this is going to be great for the Heat. I mean, you're getting a 23-point per game person in place of an 8-point per game person. I mean, that tells you right there. Yep. Some games Lowry has 4 points, 2 points, no points. The last game, chucking shots off the backboard. Like, I almost walked out my room because when he hit that shot off the backboard, it's ridiculous. Like, he was mentally checked out. He's 37. It was just time. Like, Lowry had the great runs with the Heat. 2 conference finals and NBA finals, but it's over, man. So I'm glad like Marisa said, I'm glad Pat Riley, actually made a move, and you're only giving up 1 player and a pick. And it might be a blessing in disguise not to get Dame, Bobby, and Alex and everybody else, because you would have gave up 3, probably 4 first-round picks. Now you're giving out 1, and
too much
moves in the buyout market, So, and Rozier. Go ahead, Bobby. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, man, that's a great point. Alex kind of touched on it too, because now you get a Terry Rozier who, as Marisa says, 23 points a game. You see, Dame, it sucks. Yeah, you lose Dame, but blessing in disguise. You get Terry Rozier, you give up Lowry. You basically give up just a lottery-protected draft pick that could be either 27 or 28, 2028. And then you still have assets to go get an additional person if you'd go do that. And I would not sleep on that either, whether through the buyout market or via another trade, which we're going to touch on in just a little bit. But no, man, great points. And Alex, let's and I want to get right back to Rob because it was against the Magic. But right now, the Heat, it's about to be the fourth quarter. It's 27 seconds, 82-68. Alex, they're on that 3-game losing skid. Looks like they may go into 4 games, depending on how the fourth quarter goes down. Paolo Banchero had a triple-double. They lost 87-105 to the Magic. They had everyone minus Jimmy in that game, though, Alex. And, what's going on in Miami? Is it because Jaime is not there? Or see, that Jaime was out. What can they do, in your opinion, if you think about it in your way that you do with your coaching, et cetera? What is going on in Miami? Why are they on this skid with such a talented team, even with that before Terry Rozier, that they're letting this happen the way it is?
Well, you can attest part to it, to missing Jaime. Jaime was a ghost in regards to he covered up a lot of things that were going on offensively, even how they staggered their lineups. Jaime was a connecting piece to absolutely everything that they did. One thing that I personally didn't agree with, and I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have started Martin over Highsmith, because that starting lineup, even when Jovic was playing, you needed someone that was a specialist, really. It was just defense and a 3-point, a 3 and D. And that's what Highsmith is right now. And Highsmith is a perfect component. So even on Twitter, I followed the moment this trade happened, I'm like, naturally, number one thing is Rozier's going to start. And then automatically, I'm like, okay, who do I have? Okay, I got to go with Highsmith, because Highsmith, I don't need to run absolutely anything for him. He's going to do he's going to do the whole dirty work that you need from that specialist in those lineups. It's kind of like a much younger PJ Tucker and more athletically gifted at times PJ Tucker. If you want to put an idea to a playing style, like if you want to put an image to a playing style. Obviously, Bam is featured more and his usage is up. But I honestly think the struggles have been, and we talked about this. When Jimmy came back, it's the pecking order. This is kind of like what happened for a time frame when LeBron came and Wade, and you didn't know which way to go, what style you're going to play. You don't want to step in each other's toes. You don't want to make a mistake, so you end up messing up, trying not to mess up. They just need to have a pecking order where this is what we're going to do. We're going to run through Jimmy. We're going to run through Bam. And then everything else are just triggers. Boom, boom, boom. And the Heat play read and react basketball. It's motion. They're the best movement team in the NBA. They have cuts galore. The way they design, two-man game now. This is one thing that's going to be off the charts. The Rozier and Bam pick and roll and two-man game is going to be completely off the chart. Rozier is one of the best ones in the pick and roll, high pick and roll. So those are things that it's just going to get to an acclimation point. Like right now in the fourth quarter, I'm pretty sure we're going to make a run. I still think we end up losing this game, but we'll get it closer to like the 6 point range and all that. But this is just a bridge within a bridge year. So we got to stick it out for another week or two. I really want to see what we look like after the trade deadline, because that's when we have to go on a run. So that's when everybody's healthy, which realistically now, Jaime coming back, everybody on the team is relatively healthy. You're gonna have your bruises here and there, but this is who we have. Okay, I want to make sure. I want to see how Spo. I I have a vision and an idea, and I think Spo might go that route where you have Hakis and Jovic off the bench with Martin, with Richardson, and obviously Love as your backup five. Like I said, I don't expect a lot of Brian minutes. Richardson minutes sometimes might be cut depending on the situation, but Highsmith I think definitely is going to start from here on out, and then we just got to wait for what happens with Martin, if he's moved or not. Because that would tell how much money they're willing to offer in the offseason. Because remember, we can't do sign and trades when you're in the first apron, second apron, I believe, or acquire a sign and trade player. So those are situations that the next 2 weeks will show us which direction we're going. But just like I tell a lot of Heat fans, and I'm being honest, be patient. Just be patient with this next 2 weeks, and then we're going to go on a roll.
All right, Rob. Hey, talking about that Orlando game, looking at this team, looking at this skid right now, and obviously we can easily say
watching the game too.
I know 82-71.
You just hit that scoop left hand. That's ridiculous. Like
that's what
he did. Terry Rozier.
You see that?
Like
he's great around the rim.
That's what he
finishes.
Man. Like,
man.
I don't know if he's still going to average 23 because you got Tyler, Jimmy, Bam, but if you can get 36 to 40 from your starting backcourt for the Heat, you're doing great. Because remember last year, it was so many games that the backcourt has 10 points total, 8 points total. Like, you can't win a championship like that. And they made it to the finals.
Especially the way the league is now, man. Especially the way the league is now. You need scoring.
You cannot do that against the top teams in the West. Like, you can't.
And my question for you, Rob, because I know you cover the Magic as well, is this loss to the Magic, does it say more about the Heat or about the Magic?
I think the Heat just wanted to. I think they were just ready to come home, Bobby. I wouldn't put too much stock into that because, I think it was a month prior, they just beat the Magic down in Orlando. So I just think they were ready to come home. Well, they have the next 4 or 5 at home, so I think that was a trap game. And the Magic played great at home too. So they're coming out hitting every shot. I mean, what can you do?
No, I get it. And the Magic, good young team. I mean,
Paolo was beasting. Yeah, Paolo's
dude. So. If you're in Florida, but Magic, Orlando got themselves a good squad, and I agree with you though. I wouldn't put too much in it. And Marisa said it earlier, and I've always said this about the Heat. They're a better playoff team than they are a regular season team. Once they get into the playoffs, it's a whole different ballgame, literally, for Miami. But I'll get back to Marisa right now because I want to talk about Heat made the trade for Terry Rozier. Is it done? Jake Fisher of Bleacher Report appeared on Locked On Heat podcast and revealed that the Heat have made it known around lead circles that Kyle Lowry, which has been moved, and Nikolai Jovic are available via trade before the February trade deadline. Marisa, obviously Lowry's been moved, but Jovic, who, was drafted last season, there's a lot of promise. Alex is very high on him. I'm high on him. You don't have to go around the specific players of them unless you have an opinion on them, but more about that the Heat aren't done. What, if there's any other move that could be made, what maybe not a player, but a position, what do you think the Heat could potentially get that you think would help this team in a playoff run?
I honestly haven't wrapped my head that far around it, to be honest with you. I'm just getting out of Dolphin seasons, and I haven't had a chance to analyze it, as I am just digging back into the Miami Heat. So excuse me on that. No. I will say though, I mean, I definitely think that there is opportunity, although I would not be surprised if for Pat Riley, if this was the cabal, we're done and we're moving into, the next set of, the next set. That wouldn't shock me based on, what I've seen in the past. But yeah, I mean, that's one that is outside of my wheelhouse at this point. But next week it won't be because I will officially be Heat ready.
Hey, no, and that's fine. It's really, when you think you get a player like Rozier helps, gives you an upgrade over Lowry. What other position? And we'll get into Courtney's opinion on it. For me, I would say, Alex was bringing up Highsmith. So a 4. I think a stretch 4 would be really good in my opinion if you're going to go to get somebody else. I don't have a specific name either. Maybe Alex or Rob going to come up, but let's
Bobby,
jump.
Hold on, I was going to say I think Jovic is the 4 of the future for the Heat, man.
I would love that. And I love Jovic. But I'm talking, even if it's not Jovic, we talk about Caleb Martin. What do you do with him? I know that report with Bleacher Report saying that Jovic was on the table. I'm a little skeptical on that. I would think that if that would be a paired with Lowry to get a bigger player than Rozier, obviously they didn't go that route. They may have touched on that. They keep Jovic. But if there's any other move that could be made, if not a player specifically, what position do you think could help Miami?
I mean, of course, a 4. I mean, who's out there right now? Kyle Kuzma. I mean, do you guys really want Kyle Kuzma?
They're looking to Finney Smith, probably.
Like said, no.
From Brooklyn.
Yeah, Finney Smith. Dorian Finney-Smith.
Because you can combine some salaries. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Thomas Bryant is traded. I know they've talked about trading Drew Smith's contract. People forget about this. When you think about even Caleb Martin, knowing how much money you're going to give him, people forget who we have in the pipeline. You got Jamal Cain. You have Alondes Williams. You got Cole Swat. There's a lot of people that can take your standard contracts and your two-way contracts. So there's going to be a lot of moving pieces, and then the buyout market starts. So you have names that are going to be moved, like the Gordon Haywards. Brooklyn to me looks like sellers. So Brooklyn might be. Charlotte is going to take on a lot of salary. So they're going to take. They have I think $40 million in cap space right now, where they can take contracts and get picks for it. So it's going to be active, man. And it might start before that whole trade deadline. You might see some active moves the week before.
So, Courtney, hearing everything, and I know you've been nice patiently waiting, and I appreciate you. But your reaction, your thoughts on if there's any other – do you think Miami's done making moves? And if they're not done, what could they do to help this team?
It depends when they eat their baskets. But that's just me being in my feels over the losing. We're 6 for 22 or 23 and threes. It's embarrassing. I don't know. I don't know if they're really going to do anything. I'd kind of be surprised. I think the only moving piece that's expendable is Caleb Martin. And even that, I'm not as sold on getting rid of Martin as I was on Lowry. I always thought that maybe if they went, they'd went into the package deal. So I'm not really sure. We have a lot of pieces together that I think we just need to work on gelling with each other, get healthy. So I don't really think that there's a huge need out there. And I don't know if there's really anybody that I would make a big play for. Maybe if something fell into our lap and it just worked out. But I think now that we have Rozier, I think we should just focus on getting healthy, gelling, figuring out the starting lineup, figuring out the rotation, what works so that we can just get into playoff mode. So I'm not really, I'd be surprised if there's anybody else that we picked up right now.
And that's a fair point. Alex brings up, and I even should have brought that up, but great point by Alex too with the buyout market. Is there anybody, and Alex, you can answer this, or Courtney, of course, you jump right in, but is there anybody, Alex, on the buyout market? Anybody could jump in, really, that could potentially be on the buyout market that you think could fit with Miami and Miami could pick up?
Well, I mean, it all depends on what comes to play, because usually after a trade and you have veteran expiring contracts moved, that's when the buyout starts. And then you have, I believe, until March 1st to sign if you want to be eligible for the playoffs. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be right after trade deadline. But the name that keeps coming up, obviously, for the connection is Gordon Hayward. I would not move anybody for Gordon, but I would kick rocks if he's there available in the buyout market, because he's still a veteran presence. He's a great offensive player, but obviously Charlotte is rebuilding. Is he your best defensive? He's a defensive juggernaut? No, he's not. But he can give you a bucket or two when needed. And he almost signed with the Heat in 2017, so there's history there. But aside from that, maybe I I don't know if they're gonna if they want to reinforce their power rotation if they move from Bryant if they move Bryant some way somehow in a deal. So there was always the big man. I don't think they need help in the backcourt. Now a veteran point guard maybe for depth, maybe depending. I mean, I don't know if Goran I think retired too early because I do believe there was a role for Goran here where he's a veteran in the bench, but it just became a money move, and you can see that. Which even trading Kyle Lowry enables you now to be part of that buyout market and saves you in taxes here. So it all comes down to what they're going to do. And I would not be surprised. Like if you mentioned it, we do move a couple pieces and we, like, let's say we move 3 players from our active roster and then you fill in those roster spots with some of our two-way guys right now. And some of our G leaguers get those two-way contracts and you maybe just fill up one buyout market with like a Hayward or a big man if he becomes available. So there's many moving pieces there.
Hayward's an interesting name, no doubt,
Yeah.
especially with the connection to the Heat. And he almost
Yeah.
was a free agent signing here. But you said big man, and that's a great point because you're talking about moving Thomas Bryant.
Yes.
What big man could potentially – because I think that's a great point because, we need size. I think that's something we definitely need. It killed us in the playoffs, I think, last season. Courtney witnessed that firsthand going to the final scene, Joker and company, what they did to us. So is there any big man – that you think could be a potential fit for Miami that would be available? No, not Drill
man. Honestly, I would have to sit down and analyze it because out of the top of my head, I don't see everybody right now. I know there's rumors with Andrew Drummond, but supposedly the Lakers want to acquire him. They're looking into that as well. But big man, I would have to. I'll get back to you. Let me think about it for like maybe 5 minutes.
Okay.
I
Yes,
totally agree with that. When you guys were talking, I was thinking about the fact that, for me, last year, especially during the playoffs, anytime there was a series where Bam Adebayo was out and like that height and that ability to, to get those rebounds, to turnovers, all of that stuff. I don't know that we have necessarily somebody on our team that I can identify that is that like kind of shoe-in for Bam Adebayo if he's injured or if there's kind of situations happen. And especially, you talked about it with Jokic last season. That killed us. And so for me, I kind of feel the same way. Who is that person?
I got him.
Got it.
I'm gonna say 2 names: Kelly Olynyk or Danilo Gallinari. Those are 2 options, but I wouldn't go with Danilo. But Kelly O, due to familiarity and all that, I'll entertain it.
I'll be topping.
Well, from the Pacers, he's in the Pacers now, Anthony.
That's a rumor.
But Rob, is this true? The Magic were interested in Buddy Hield. Is there legs to that?
I heard that, but
No?
I'll look it up in a second. I haven't heard anything, but who's good that's not playing right now? Orlando Robinson.
Oh, for sure.
When he played this year for the Heat, he's been productive.
That's one of the reasons I want to move away from Thomas Bryant. And Bobby, we talked about this.
It sounds more like a personal vendetta. You keep bringing up Thomas Bryant. They got to move like Thomas Bryant. I'm like, God.
Thomas Bryant.
You're talking about Thomas Bryant.
When I saw him check today,
he just doesn't fit with the Heat.
Yeah, exactly. And he's.
But you know what? Though, let me just say something different. Again, there's different times for the Heat. I think he would fit better in the postseason. I like what he brings for the Heat during the postseason, during that stretch, a 7-game stretch. I see him now. Regular season's different because the thing about Spose when he comes to lineups in the regular season, it gets weird. The rotation sometimes it's like he's always experimenting. But once he's in a playoff run, then now we're like, oh, dude, look at Thomas Bryant, man. Look at this veteran player. And
he's tinkering right now. Spose tinkering with the rotation right now. He's trying to figure it out.
I put it more on Spo than I do Thomas Bryant. That's why I know why Alex keeps saying Thomas Bryant, not because he actually thinks Thomas Bryant should go. He just wants Orlando Robinson to get minutes.
I want Orlando Robinson to be there, man. Even though I don't think he's going to – I think right now they love Kevin Love as a backup 5, and Jovic can be your de facto point guard for that second unit. He loves to run with Jaime. When him and Jaime are together, he's just gone, bro. They have the best transition numbers, and honestly, that's another thing. Rozier's going to help us out a lot in transition too. That starting lineup always was slacking in transition offense. So he's going to help us out because he likes to run. Now, once again, I always tell these people and people don't understand. Oh, he's a starter. Oh, he's coming off the bench. That does not matter unless starters you want which is well, some people made the argument for Duncan Robinson to start. You want to get off to a strong start, but it all comes down to how you stagger your lineups. Like that's what it comes down to: how you stagger your lineups and who ends up closing. That's it.
But then the Heat is also notorious for, people coming off the bench for
Yes.
them to be,
Yep.
doing great and throwing up higher points sometimes than their starting lineup. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I don't think that that's ever really been a cause for concern I haven't seen from this team, which, by the way, are closing the gap. in this
5
game right
points.
Down
Yep.
5. Yeah.
But didn't I tell you like 6-point game?
7 points now, but still. But look, Bam Adebayo 15, Tyler with 15, Jimmy with 15, Martin has 12, Rozier 9, Richardson 9, Haysmith 8.
Get ready for a lot of those games.
Duncan Robinson, monster game, 2 points for Duncan tonight.
Duncan,
He
man.
just scored again. That's 4. So
Oh, sorry.
okay, don't even get me started. You know why they're winning right now? Because he's on the court.
That's right.
Oh, is that what it question hypothetically. Let's say we were able to get a guy like Dejounte Murray from Atlanta without giving up Tyler. Does Tyler go to the bench or Murray?
No,
Well-
they both start next to each other.
Yeah, and
That's
I
just
don't-
starting
that-
backcourt.
Murray. I think the Murray thing is dead because
Oh,
we
yeah.
got Rozier. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Does Murray? Okay, let's predict. Where does Murray end up? L.A. That's number 1.
I would say San Antonio. I always think it's San
San
Antonio.
Antonio.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy to me? Am I the only one that thinks that if I'm Atlanta, I'd rather trade Trae Young?
Yes, I would trade Trae Young.
I would trade Trae Young.
I would keep
over
Murray
DeJounte
and trade Young. Yeah, that's what I would do.
Tough.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
like,
I-
I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's
I
a
don't
star player, man.
I know.
I know. Well, that's what I'm.
Born in our
That's the
side,
thing.
man.
Yeah. Remember, when he goes, what does he do? He's sure he goes like this, and also we pull him
Ice
out. It's
cold.
like, go back home,
Ice
bro.
tray.
You remember that? Yeah, remember
Yeah.
that? What did he do? When he said,
What I love about the meme set when he said game
94-90,
over.
guys.
94-90. There you go.
"Look at that, 4 points."
You're ahead of Google right now. I'm trying to research.
Yeah, it's me too. I'm like,
I'm watching on Breeze Line. Maybe that's why.
I'm definitely behind you.
Yeah, I have the NBA package, and they were not showing it because apparently it's being shown locally, but then
Yeah.
locally it's not being shown either. So I'm like, cool, that's awesome.
what's that called?
I have a beautiful Twitter follower who sent me screaming, "Oh, guess who just made a 3? Do you want to guess? Do you want
It
to?
must
guess?
Tyler Hero.
No,
The boy,
it's
Duncan.
my boy.
Well, he's both of ours. We have shared custody of him.
Oh man,
Oh,
tell
boy.
you.
I don't know if she
Duncan is a
heard
wanted
that.
man.
She's not
And
responding.
I tell you guys that I this is Dolphin related, but I made a post about Cam Smith, and Kim Smith has seen my post about him.
That's
I don't know.
hey.
Working about
Is there a happier man?
if Xavier Howard leaves, I hope he
It-
realizes that he might slip into the X role if X leaves.
Vic Fangio has to answer for his crime wars on not
No,
playing Smith at all.
Vic is coming to me. He better hope we don't cross paths.
Oh man, that's true. That's true. He's ended up. That's true. I didn't know his family. His family's in Philadelphia.
I
He should
really,
have just gone to Philadelphia, man.
I really hope he takes Eli Apple with him. I think Philly really is missing a strong corner.
Yes.
You know, they have Bradbury Slay. I really think Eli Apple.
Take Eli Apple with him. That's a package deal.
I really think Eagle fans should start pushing for that.
You know what? I'm for Stephen Ross paying for his salary in the Eagles. Like I want him to pay for Vic Fangio to be the Eagles DC. I got no problem.
Yeah, as he has to make Eli Apple. That's the only rule. Yeah, I just think it's funny that for all the hate that I give to Vic Fangio, really comes from my city of all the cities.
He's gonna hunt you down, Courtney. Watch out.
He's gonna be scared to see me on the street. Have you seen?
So it's only right that I have Courtney on the screen because she was next. Because I consider her like the pit bull of the network. You don't want to mess with her, especially with her people. And I just want to touch on this. Udonis Haslam, and I say that with all respect, Courtney. But Udonis Haslam got his jersey retired. It was an amazing ceremony. I mean, I think rightly deserved.
Absolutely.
Paul
Earned
Pierce
too.
earned.
Paul Pierce is man.
Paul Pierce.
I tried seeing the tribute from his mom. Well, I mean, you know what I mean. Like when they
Yeah.
were together,
It was great, and just listening to him, I mean, you felt it. And let's see, Steven Jackson posted on Instagram about the retirement jersey retirement. He said, felt like all the real ones got their jersey retired, being solid, stale, and style, earned, not given. Salute my boy, Mr. 305 UD. Big congrats. For all the real ones who will never see this day, be proud. A real one just got his due, end quote. That is from former NBA vet Steven Jackson. But, of course, Paul Pierce being Paul Pierce responded, this one
Always
was
hating.
given. Yeah, this one was given, bro, not earned. Just saying. So, Courtney, I want to start with you, and then we'll get to Rob, and then we'll roll on with Alex and Marissa. But first, you for sure, because God, that's great content when you're angry. But your thoughts on this? Was this earned or given? Is Paul Pierce on the money? What are your thoughts on this?
Paul Pierce is a little bitch. Just because you didn't get the same level of tribute and respect that UD got, I think you should maybe just shut up and stay in your lane, because this ain't your lane. And to have those comments to a man who spent 20 years with the same team that is selfless, is training the younger guys behind him. He's the mentorship basically of that team. He took a lesser role. He takes the bench role. He doesn't complain. He wants, to help everybody around. The crap that he's done for, Miami, it's the city itself. And to sit there and try to take that away from him and tell him that it's not, or it was given to him. What was given to him? Nothing. He earned everything he got. And I think that he's just, jealousy is ugly, and he's uglier. I'm sorry, but the fact that you may have whatever your stats are in the league or whatever, but you'll never be half the man that Udonis is. And that's a real shame for you, because you're a little boy in a grown-up's clothing. And you know what? Him, Vic Fangio, and Eli Apple can all come find me in a back alley, because only one of us is walking out, and it's me.
All right, Rob.
Someone woke up and chose violence.
I was gonna say, Rob, your reaction to Paul Pierce.
Paul Pierce is going to do Paul Pierce things. We know they don't like each other. The Celtics and the Heat have a rivalry. So, of course, Paul Pierce is going to say that. But Udonis earned it, 20 years, 3 championships. I'm sure he wasn't a 20-point per game scorer, but Udonis did the dirty work, man. So he gets his jersey retired. That is what it is. Now, maybe if you said the NBA Hall of Fame, that might be a stretch. But for the Heat, come on, you got to retire Mr. 305's jersey. Come on, man.
Yes, Grandma, thank you for tuning in. That's my grandmother, everybody. Yes.
Hi, Grandma.
We've got Courtney and Marissa joining us, talking Heat and Dolphins. Great to have them on. Now, let's get to Marissa's thoughts on Paul Pierce. And now just context, too, with Paul Pierce. It's not the first time that he has said something about Heat legends. Of course, saying that he had a better career than Dwayne Wade, if everybody remembers that. And then oh my God, I'm forgetting his name right now. ESPN. Oh goodness, he was married to girl from First Take. I'm horrible with names, but anyway, he kind of called him out on Jalen Rose. What he said, and he read over all the numbers of Dwayne Wade, what Dwayne Wade had done.
That segment was awesome.
Remember? So, Marissa, your thoughts on Paul Pierce, and if you don't want to share too much thoughts, at least your thoughts on UD getting his jersey retired. Do you believe that was earned, not given?
Yeah, I mean, I follow suit with everybody. I think it was 100% earned. I think that Paul Pierce has always just been such a controversial person and player. That's just like who he is. That's his brand. And when I think of him and his antics, like I kind of think of like Dennis Rodman a little bit, like just in like this whole, like always just gonna like cause a little, stir a little controversy up. But it was absolutely deserved. I mean, you even saw it through the playoff run last year and the playoff run the year before that. I mean, it was so awesome to see when they did let him get off the bench and go and when at the home games and, throw around the ball and get in the game a little bit. But, he's basically been like extra coach for that team. And you even saw it when he was, being honored. I mean, they even said like he was on the sideline still like talking to the guys and kind of coaching them up and everything that was going on. I mean, he is, I think, a part of the like epitome of Heat culture. I think like he has helped establish that. And that is something that, there are the stats and there are the rankings, but there is a big deal when it comes to like a culture of the team. And obviously Heat culture is such a thing that it's like, it's its own brand at this point. And I think he has a big hand to play in a lot of it. So I thought it was awesome. I'm so happy for him. The seats that were done in honor of his parents were amazing. And that OG chain, like, I know I'm not like the OG, but like I want one of those. That was nice. I can like be like the OG of like something different. I don't know what, but that thing was very sweet. But good for him. And Paul Pierce he's just looking for attention, so it's fine.
OG of beanies. That's
OG
that.
of beanies. Yeah.
He down too.
Oh yeah,
Man,
Google's slow as heck.
You were so ahead of the Google. It's just
crazy. Still, I think I'm ahead of you guys.
Yeah. Is Jimmy back in the game? I think that Jimmy broke his nose.
What's the score right now?
Hold on. If he makes this, he missed it. 98-96.
Okay, here it's 96-90 on Google.
Terry,
so
you went behind. Terry just missed a 3. Oh, it's a minute 15.
Twitter's a little faster, so that works.
My money's on Terry hitting the game winner. Watch.
Can you imagine?
Duh, that is me.
Oh, there we go. Courtney coming in the clutch.
Look at that. Let's see here.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a little nervous about the Celtics game tomorrow. If we're doing this, against the Grizzlies, I don't know how that's going to bode.
It's with Miami. It's the team. They always struggle against the teams they're supposed to beat. And then when the teams they're supposed to lose to, that they're going to step up. That's why
opposite of the Dolphins.
Hey, it's 103-96 now.
Yeah, I see it.
Oh,
dang. I'm nervous about the Sixers game because I don't want Embiid to put up 70 while I'm in the stadium.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. Yeah.
Let's see here. But okay, so we're reacting to that right now. Let me see if pull this up very quick. It's 103.96, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. 47 seconds remaining.
Scotty Pippen Jr. dropping dimes on the Heat.
Yeah, I feel like their clutch fourth quarter, obviously they came some back, but that was their thing last year. Fourth quarters, no question, they were coming back and they were going to just, bring it all the way back to the house. And I feel like fourth quarters just haven't been their jam lately.
Yeah, this year's been a massive struggle.
They start off lackadaisical, and that kills them.
Yeah. Well, and I think that they're betting on the fact that they can come back like they did last year in lots of games. They were the comeback kids of last year, but it's just not happening this year. So,
well, they gotta make the flipping baskets. That's the biggest problem. It's just
it starts with the leader of the team, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler walks around and jogs around all game to the fourth quarter.
That's
true. That's not a lie.
That's the thing. There's a difference. That's why I always tell people there's a difference between regular season Jimmy and playoff Jimmy. Looking at right now, Jimmy has 15. Tyler Hero's leading with 18. Martin has 15. Adebayo has 15. 15 of 15 for Adebayo. He's double right now. 15 rebounds as well.
Not one 20-point player at all in tonight's game.
Yeah. It was gonna be. And no, it was a very low scoring game, man. Those are the things that you're going to see a lot of these games that are like a lot of people in double digits, but yeah, they looked out of sync today. That's why I was expecting them to lose. I figured they'll make a comeback. They always do, but it was going to fall short. That's always the case right now. It's kind of like this game felt like Toronto. It was kind of like one of those trap games, injuries, young guys playing. You're like, oh, here we go.
Alex, since we didn't get to do East 10th Street Boys, I'm gonna pop you up here for just a minute. As Courtney's reacted. I reacted. We'll get. I know Marisa has reacted. I think Marisa posted something on her Twitter in regards to Vic Fangio.
Mm-hmm.
Rob, I don't know if you had a chance to in regards of. I want to get your reaction to it, but Alex, Usually we do East 10th Street Boys. Couldn't do it Monday. You had some Tuesday night. Couldn't do something for me.
Yeah, I think
tonight we're doing this. So, but I just want to get your 2 cents as we're waiting to see what the Heat are going to do. 42 seconds remaining on the clock. 103.96. Your thoughts on Fangio? Because I've talked this with you, and I've told you before, and you even said you looked at me like I was crazy. You go, are you serious? And mid-season, when I told you I believe Vic Fangio was going to be one and done.
Yeah.
Turns out today he's one and done. So, what is your instant reaction to that as we wait for the Heat finale here?
Yeah, mid-season. I thought I would have called you crazy because
you did call me crazy.
Yeah, I did. Sorry, my apologies, man.
It's all right. You've called me worse,
Yeah. But I figured that obviously just getting your players back, he's getting comfortable. But as the season went on, I started warming up to that idea because it felt like it was funny. I forgot who tweeted this, but it was Javon Holland's father, where he's like, everybody likes the iPhone, but nobody wants the iPhone 1, like update. And it's true. There was certain situations. There was certain situations in season that you're like, what the hell is he doing? Like, why isn't Ramsey shadowing the best receiver on the opposing team? Why is Smith not playing at all? Like, I could understand not in certain moments, but then you're like, wait a second. And you know what? Also, one thing, it's a dynamic that they have to fix because now you started seeing, I don't think McDaniel and Fangio, I don't know if it's the age difference or the relationship, how it was, but they didn't seem to click. And it kind of seemed like McDaniel really didn't even talk to the defense, aside from walking by them in practice, having a good time. Like, it seemed like de facto, Vic Fangio was the defensive head coach. So now you need to hire a defensive coordinator or promote from within where you're not telling him what to do, but you are involved with the game plan and you're there interacting with him. Fangio kind of had like too much just laissez-faire, just like he'll do whatever he wants to do. And there's a lot of questions now that are going to come up. Obviously, players are going to react in social media, but then not questioning him schematically, but there's a lot of questions that are going to come up with like, personnel-wise, why didn't you play these guys in moments that you could have played these guys? Like, was it personal with you? Like, what's the situation? So, at the end of the day, I'm a big believer. If you don't want to be here, even if you have a contract, I don't mind those mutually parting ways because go pursue whatever you prefer. And obviously, we're not going to pay you. You're going to get a job, whatever the case may be. If you don't want to be here, I don't want you here. Plain and simple. I don't want you just to honor your contract. We do that even with players too. Like, I get that. I know players want to get traded or they want to get a new contract, a raise, but honor your contract. But a coach, anybody like that, you don't want to be here, let's find a way to make it work somewhere else for you. So now they got to get this hire right. McDaniel has to get this hire right, whoever it is, because a lot of it is riding on this hire for him. And stability. He just needs to have a connection with him. And they need to have a connection with the team. So I'm just, whoever it is, I hope is the person that is going to use our youth and our defense to its best of its ability.
So, long story short, you're happy that they've parted ways with.
Yeah, I'm happy that they parted ways.
All right. So, Rob, right. Well, and then just here's the final 105-96. Heat come out short. Now they're on a 4-game losing skid. And nobody gets over 20 points. Beautiful. But we're gonna recap this. We're gonna react to this. But before then, just your thoughts. I know you don't really talk NFL or Dolphins, but I'd love to get because you're down there. Your initial reaction to Fangio leaving today.
It looks like the players are happy. What defensive back was that kicking rocks on Twitter? Just kicking
Javon
Holland. Yeah,
Javon Holland. And then it's just said Fangio's family's in Pennsylvania, so
yeah,
he's going to go to Philly to the Eagles up there with you, Courtney. It looks like a deal's going to be done this week. So I think he had this all planned out, and it is what it is. The Dolphins will bounce back. They'll find somebody to replace him. I don't know who, but I'm gonna have to do some research. But they'll be
AC for DC.
Like I said last,
Anthony.
The Dolphins are getting closer, man. The Dolphins are getting closer, man. They're getting closer to getting over that hump.
Mm-hmm.
They had a bad matchup in the first round. Kansas City in the bitter cold. You're not winning that.
Yeah, and I will say, I mean, that's why this hire is very important because this hire, the Fangio hire, was a chess piece move in order because the Dolphins were trying to get that last piece to get to the Super Bowl. This was a splash hire, just like Jalen Ramsey, Tyreek Hill. They know that the window is closing in on this specific run right now. So whatever move is next, has to be a move that makes sense not only for Mike McDaniel, but for the players that you have in order to make that next step. This is not let's hire a young guy and grow together. Yeah, right. Let's get a guy to grow together and all this. No, it's not about a 3-year window anymore. It's a 1-year window. Who could push you and this defense over the top? That way you could win that Kansas City game in Kansas City if you have to go back there next season. So, you thought Vic Fangio was that guy, but Fangio from the very beginning, I mean, as soon as I heard his first thing when he was talking about, when somebody asked him, did you really want the Philly job or something like that? I'm paraphrasing because I have it. When he was saying, yeah, that was the goal. It just didn't work out. He really wanted to be in Philly. Didn't work out that way. So he took Miami. They hired Sean Desai. Now Desai's out. Obvious what happens. Fangio goes to Philadelphia. So whatever move comes up, Miami just has to make the right one.
Hey, Bobby, I like these hypotheticals. So hypothetically, Tom lives down here. He's still in shape. If Tom wants to come back, he said, I want to come back and play for the Dolphins. Do you guys want him? Yes or no? Courtney said, you don't want him? It's Tom Brady, though.
I wouldn't do it right now.
Drive him to an island and make sure he can.
Over Tua? You want to do it over Tua?
They would never do that.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not what they would do.
If it was going to happen.
See, this is the thing.
They asked Tom for the 49ers. You heard that, right? They asked him to come back. And they were going to make Brock Purdy. You saw that. You read that, right?
But doesn't he have some skin in the game with the Raiders now?
Yeah,
he's an owner, yeah.
Evan said that didn't work out. Evan said that didn't work out.
Oh, he's out now?
Yeah, Evan had told, because somebody brought that up saying that didn't work out.
He's here. He's in Miami.
Yeah. I remember somebody brought that up to Evan, and he said, you know how Evan interrupts during the show? He was like, it didn't work. It didn't work. Like, what? It's like, it didn't work out. So I don't know, but hypothetical, yeah. But it's not going to happen.
I don't want a
I
would have to give it a try.
Tom Brady is different from a 47-year-old quarterback.
No, man.
Tom Brady could win in Kansas City. That's all I'm saying.
A year and a half away from
He can win 3 straight and win you the AFC East. He won't drop 3 straight.
He can. He's doing thirst traps on the beach. Absolutely not, Bobby.
No,
Stop it. We're not getting into this.
Tom Brady is single in North Florida, man. Just enjoy. He got a new mansion.
At the bottom of a can.
He's good, bro. He's good.
All right. Goodness.
No.
So going back very quick. So the Heat do get their 4-game losing streak. They face the Celtics tomorrow. Marisa, you say you were nervous. Are you still nervous now or more nervous?
Sure. So my best friend is a Celtics fan, and her and I get together to watch the games. And I don't think this is going to be pretty. The Celtics are looking fire this season. And if we couldn't do it tonight, I'm not feeling real confident that we're going to be able to turn it around for tomorrow's game with no break in between for sure. So I think I hate to say it, but I think we're going 0-5. And I like to keep the faith, but not again. I don't think against the Celtics. I don't think this is it yet.
And the Heat right now, I believe are they 24-20 now, or is it 24-19?
24-20.
24-20.
And I'm gonna go on the opposite. I think they're gonna blow out the Celtics tomorrow. They're gonna win by 10+. Yeah, it's gonna click. Sometimes these quick turnarounds are good. Sometimes.
Okay.
Well,
sometimes. I can't wait I'm gonna have to make sure I have you on X so I can at you.
Oh, absolutely. We'll communicate while game. Alex, I thought you told me
they're playing down. They play down to their competition tonight, like they are known to do. So
that's what I was just saying. It's the games they're supposed to win, they drop, and the games they're supposed to lose, they come back and do.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at it now. It says, I don't see it.
Let me look right now.
Say for some reason.
Yes,
TNT.
TNT is 7:30. Yeah.
Honestly,
there you go.
Honestly, this is. I still think it's going to be Celtics and Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. And now I know we didn't mention with the Bucks, man. Giannis has to be in the conversation of how many coaches he's gotten fired. And if this is true, if Griffin did say that Donis was committing insurance fraud by being in the NBA, I think it's hilarious, bro. Because as a head coach, I would do the same thing. It's like, I understand having the good locker room and a good locker room dynamic, but Donis just being on a roster because he's Giannis's brother. There's certain things that they tuned out Griffin up from the moment he got hired. And I remember I was talking to Bobby when they hired Griffin, and I'm like, when you have he was a player in the NBA, he was an assistant coach for 10+ years, but he's never been a head coach. So whenever you have a championship team, and then they traded for Dame Lillard, that is another spectrum. That's another stratosphere of demands that you must meet. And unfortunately, for some of these organizations, the players run the teams. They run the organization. That's not something that would happen here, but in that organization, a rookie head coach is not getting along with his two superstars. Like, and Damian wasn't outspoken about it. Damian was very respectful about the situation, but it had to be offensive differences, philosophical differences, ideological differences, and then they just tune you out, and you have to make a move. But we know what Doc Rivers is going to do. Doc Rivers is going to have a 3-1 lead, and he's going to blow a 3-1 lead. That's what he does everywhere he goes. So it's just recycle, and it's going to be unfortunate, but I think that's the last time. The moment, I know you go for Dame, but the moment the Bucks traded Drew Holiday, and they're going on a roll right now, but the moment they traded Drew Holiday, I'm like, there's no way they win another title. There's no way. You can't win without defense there.
So, no, it's a great point, and it sucks because now the Bucks are paying 3 coaches.
You saw that, bro?
Boldenholzer.
3 head coaches' salaries,
I mean,
man.
it's the same as the Panthers. They're paying 3 coaches
right?
now for whoever they get.
Well, I was just looking at the Panthers.
Which is crazy.
It's a great point, Marissa. I was just seeing the Panthers right now. They completed a second interview. The Falcons. Falcons completed a second interview with Panthers defensive coordinator Ijero. I think I know I'm butchering this.
The Panthers DC? Yes.
I love that guy. That is a guy that is on my short list. Just throwing that out there.
And talk to me about Jim Harbaugh going to the Chargers, because he was gonna get suspended if Michigan. They're gonna come.
Michigan knows the death penalty, man.
They're about to vacate.
That's how you know they're getting a death penalty, man. That's crazy.
He wanted a legit franchise quarterback.
Right. Oh, here we go.
I'm honestly, though, a little nervous about about him going to the Chargers. I think it's going to be that much harder with the AFC because, not for nothing, like Harbaugh, I think he's checked off all the stuff he wanted to do in college. And I think he is hungry for that Super Bowl win. And so I'm like, can't anybody go to the NFC, like, for the love of what? Like, why does everybody have to come up in our AFC mix?
You're 1,000% right. That's my point. I know it's we were laughing now because we know why we say franchise quarterback. It's like, oh, here we go, Herbert too. But you think about, he just went into a situation where big arm. He has Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. That team that was a laughingstock last year because it had all that talent and couldn't do it. Yeah, they're gonna get into the playoffs next season. Just because of Harbaugh, he does that. Look what he did with the Niners. It's of course it's AFC, so it's like, oh, well, here's another one.
I'm like, how are we even gonna? I mean, I love our team, but like, there's it's a little. I'm like, oh man.
It's what it is.
We're gonna compete. You'll see. You'll see this year.
We're Dolphin fans, Heat fans, all that. It's never boring being a Miami sports fan. It's never freaking boring.
One thing I will say that I did not know, I was looking it up because my dad's coming in town for the Super Bowl. The Heat are actually playing the Celtics on Super Bowl Sunday, and they're playing at 2:00 Eastern.
Okay,
so they'll be playing the slot right before the Super Bowl. So that's going to be a heck of a game day for Miami fans.
The game's in Boston. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's going to be a great day. I mean, you've got your Celtics Heat, and then you got your Super Bowl. I mean, goodness gracious. Yeah.
We'll be all day sitting on the couch or in the chair watching the games. It's going to be a good day. But we're about an hour in. And first, I'll thank everybody who's been sticking with us watching, whether you're watching on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, everything. We appreciate you. If you're on anything other but YouTube, pop on in. Hit that like button, that subscribe button. Got so much great content coming to Finstock Sports Network. Heat, NFL, Dolphins draft, wrestling, baseball's coming next month. I'm excited about that. So pop in. Marissa, this is your first Miami Heat podcast, doing a show. You've been doing Dolphins and you've been lighting it up. How you feeling after this one?
After this podcast?
Yes, ma'am.
I feel good. I feel like when you asked me that second question, I'm like, ooh, I've been down in Dolphins country. Like, I need to get my head above the water a little bit. Bobby asked me to come on a couple weeks ago. I was like, I'm catching a stray game every now and then, but this Dolphins talk is keeping me busy. No, it's awesome. Once the season's over, I am just Heat locked in. NBA on Sirius XM. And so I'm excited for this season. I think our boys are going to run it back, hopefully. And I appreciate you guys having me on here and letting me jib jab with y'all.
Of course. And,
I don't even know jib jab, why that word just came out of my mouth.
It's a new word. We're going to get a t-shirt to say jib jab.
I'm such like a preschool teacher. It's so sad. Like, that's not my day job, but I feel like that's how I...
And let everybody know where they could find you before we wrap it up.
Yes, at Must Be Marisa with 1S 87, and that is on all social media platforms, including YouTube. I do mostly Dolphin stuff, but I'm hoping to ramp up some Heats coverage here soon. So
there you go. And for Dolphin stuff, for Dolphin fans, you can catch Marisa obviously on her X, but also on Dolphins Talk YouTube. Are you doing any articles on the site as well?
No, I'm not. I don't have the time.
It's okay.
But yeah, dolphinstalk.com. I'm on Tuesdays at 6:00. However, off season, we're kind of just rolling out stuff as things, pop up, like, you all alluded to today. I'm known for kind of just throwing up some random videos of my own when, news pops out, like I did today with Fangio. Sometimes they're silly, sometimes they're serious. But yeah, dolphinstalk.com.
There you go. Courtney, any final thoughts before we wrap it up tonight?
About Heat or Dolphins?
All of the above, girl. All of the above.
I'm living my best life this week. I'm in a great mood. I'm excited. I'm excited for the Heat. I'm excited to see what we do. I can't wait to see them in less than a month. It'll be my son's first Heat game, as I've said, so he's very excited. And now I can see Rosie. I'm excited because I don't see Lowry. When I speak onto the court.
Well, you might see Lowry if he signs with the Sixers.
Don't say that. Ruin everything good. As quoting Taylor Swift, this is why we do nice things, Alex.
Are you going to the game up there or here?
Up here.
Okay.
Yeah, this was, I think I told everybody, I'll say again, the Sixers sell their tickets on Groupon, and they're as low as $22 a ticket.
That is crazy, man.
Yeah, the tickets are pretty cheap up there.
Yeah, so I'm going with 6 people. So I'm going with 3 Sixers fans. It'll be me and my son is a Heat fan, and my older brother's coming. He's a Lakers fan, but he's also a de facto Heat fan. So
exactly. He's gonna be the Heat side.
Yeah.
Well, he's coming for adult supervision, is what you told us.
Yeah, he's basically coming A, to keep me in line, but also B, so like if I have to do like concession bathroom breaks with like there's going to be 4 children with us.
Oh, crazy times.
Yeah. So I needed another adult with me. 2 of them are teenagers, so God knows what they're going to go off and do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we're just going to be, but I'm very excited to see the Heat. I try to see every Miami sport when they come up and play Philly. But Sixers fans are a lot easier to tolerate than Eagle fans, even though they're usually one and the same. They're usually a little bit calmer during some Sixers games. So I'm really excited to see them. I'm hoping my bad luck from last year at the finals game wears off. I apologize again to Heat fans for attending the game that we lost.
It was all because of you, though.
Yeah,
I
blame myself as well. I'm really sorry for going to Denver. That was my mistake. I'll never do that again. But yeah, other than that, I'm feeling great. Bye, Fangio. I'm on Team Rex Ryan. That's very controversial. That's my hot take. Rex Ryan, Pettin, or Vrabel are my 3. So we'll see what.
There you go.
I have some hot takes over here for the Dolphins.
Oh.
Also, I am happy to announce that I freed Cam Smith. I'm gonna just let you know that my hashtag free Cam Smith.
and you notice that his little it's an emoji had a little unlock.
Unlock.
A little unlock, right?
That's what I retweeted that and I put it on Instagram and I said, Cam, we did it. And I went into my viewers and he actually viewed it. So he knows that I'm
He knows what time it is.
He knows that he's like, X, I think she just passed me the torch. So
there you go. Alex, any final thoughts?
Well, in reference to the Dolphins, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued because I know there's going to be some hot take in regards to a candidate that becomes available some way somehow. But in regards to the Heat, just be patient, wait it out. It's going to be another 2 weeks before the trade deadline. We have a tough stretch coming. So how we play right now, how we respond, which I'm happy that we have a game tomorrow, because how you respond against the Celtics, then you got the Knicks, and then you got I think it's the Suns that come into town. If it's Monday or Tuesday, I forgot what day it is. So this 3-game stretch can, and we're still in the 6-7 seed, I believe. So the East is going to be tight, man. But we just need to go on a row and separate. And I'll still say we're going to be 3rd seed in the East, and we'll go from there. So don't worry about it. Just Heat fans, just relax and enjoy the ride.
Okay.
Marisa, I saw your face. Alex is Mr. Optimistic when it comes to Miami.
I mean, I am loving that for you.
Rob, man, any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
Just search me Rob Parks or Rob Parks Jr. Everything, my stuff will pop up.
I'm about to search you right now, Rob.
Yes, yeah. Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. I post all kind of stuff. Don't worry too much about the Heat right now. They just got Rozier. It's going to take him some time to acclimate him. He'll be the starting point guard. And then this is just a tough stretch of the season, like right before the All-Star break, right before the trade deadline. And the Heat will get it together. They'll be fine.
Yeah.
They'll be fine. Hopefully Jimmy kicks it into gear soon. Stop jogging up the court.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. That's right. All right, guys. Well, thank you all, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate you. If you haven't yet, hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
It's the Fins Talk Sports Network, FTSN, talking major sports and even wrestling. Bobby Fins Talk and his FTSN crew, they're taking deep dives just to entertain you. Talking Dolphins, Heat,